Do you have an interview scheduled at McDonald's? What questions are they going to ask? What answers are they expecting? In this video, I'm going to tell you the 10 most common questions asked at McDonald's when you're the candidate, along with tips on how to answer. Hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez, and this is the Job Room channel. I've been a recruiter and selector for 27 years, and today I'm going to tell you all about the McDonald's interview. The first interview question is, tell me a little about yourself. So they want to get to know a little bit about you. My tip, give an answer that's 2 minutes long at most. Remember, you're applying for a job at the world's largest fast food company. So you need to present yourself as a practical, intelligent person who can also express yourself persuasively, but in a quick and concise way, not a long-winded one, all right? Second, I'll give you an example of an answer. You should mention that you're someone who cares about standards and also values family. After all, McDonald's is a benchmark when it comes to family. So if they ask me that, I might say, "Hi, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez, and I'm 47 years old. I'm a very family-oriented person. I enjoy being at home and spending my free time with my family." I believe family is the most important institution in society, without a doubt. Professionally, I like to work with methods. I like to follow procedures. For example, I recently worked for 2 years as a salesperson in a bookstore. And there, I was always successful because I provided great customer service and always followed the work methodology. And that's why I connected so much with this job at McDonald's. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm ready for the rest of the questions. Of course, you'll have to use your own characteristics. I just gave you some examples. But that family factor and that factor of method and standards, those are fundamental points for them to see in your personality for you to get hired. Second question, let's go. Why do you want to work at McDonald's? For what reason do you want to work at McDonald's? For this answer, I'm going to give you some tips on things like, for example, constant learning, a successful company, and a solid career. All right? If I were to give an answer to this question, I might say, there are 3 basic reasons why I want to work at McDonald's. First, McDonald's is one of the businesses that has grown the most in the world since the 40s, and it continues to grow significantly all over the globe. Since I'm a person with a growth mindset, I like to expand my knowledge, I like to learn, so that's the first reason. A second reason is that I know the career path here is solid. When you learn, put in the effort, and work hard, there are career opportunities. And I'd like to come here to build a great career path and develop an interesting career. And a third factor is that I know McDonald's needs skilled, fast people. I'm someone who delivers good work. I learn very quickly, and I'm dedicated to being fast in everything I do. Those are the reasons why I'd like to work at McDonald's. Of course, you can bring your own individual reasons, but these factors I've mentioned literally make all the difference. They'll ask you as the third question, tell me your strengths and your weaknesses, all right? Forbidden weaknesses. Forbidden. Lack of care. Difficulty learning, difficulty adapting. Weaknesses that are actually good. I'm a more meticulous person. I like to follow standards. Sometimes that can get in my way, but at McDonald's it won't because everything there is standardized. See? Strengths. I've already mentioned them. Speed, cleanliness, customer care, the ability to adapt to different situations, resilience. These are strengths that are very important for McDonald's. Let's move on to the fourth question. The fourth one. How would you work with other people? How do you work with people who are different from you? Remember that McDonald's is a multicultural hub. Whether you're at a McDonald's in New York, Amsterdam, Rio de Janeiro, where I am, Istanbul, or Tokyo, it doesn't matter where in the world. If there's a McDonald's, it has this multicultural characteristic. So when asked about other people, a good answer would be, I like working with people, I like learning from them, I like understanding other cultures and customs, and I see that McDonald's champions that. After all, today, McDonald's is in more than 90 countries around the world. So this multiculturalism at McDonald's is another thing that really catches my attention. from its customers who come from the most diverse backgrounds possible to its employees. So it'll be really cool to integrate and also share my culture and learn about other people's cultures in this incredible company that is McDonald's. And there you have it, a good answer. Let's move on to the fifth question. By the way, be careful with the eighth, ninth, and 10th, as those are the ones that get the most people rejected. Before I continue, if you want to simulate an interview, do a live online interview training, get feedback on whether you did well or poorly, whether it's for McDonald's or any other job, there's a link for you to book an interview simulation here in the description and in the first comment. You'll click the link. It's a Hotmart link, 100% secure with a refund policy if necessary. You'll pick the schedule you want, choose the number of sessions, and go ahead and do the interview simulation with me, all right? Also in the description, I've put my ebook, which is the 50 points or answers that get people rejected the most in job interviews. Take a look at this ebook. There's a discount coupon for you from the Job Room channel. Let's move on to the fifth question. What do you expect to find here in the fast food industry? What do you expect to find in the fast food industry? So there are two things they expect to hear from you. First, a dynamic environment. An environment where things are fast-paced, an environment where things change. That's a standard answer. And a second point is, in the fast food environment, you'll find pressure. Pressure for results, pressure to follow procedures, pressure to deliver your best every day. So those are two types of answers that they really like. Sixth question. How would you handle a difficult customer? In fact, if you're on YouTube, and you type in angry customer at McDonald's, you'll find this from China, Japan, where Eastern people are calmer, to Spain, where my family is from, Brazil, where I'm located, where I live, the United States, anywhere. You'll see customers literally fighting with McDonald's employees, sometimes even hitting them, believe it or not, right? It's an absurd thing with McDonald's employees. And that's why they ask how you would handle difficult customers. For this answer, my tip is, it's no use saying, oh, I handle difficult customers very well. I find it very easy to work with difficult people. That's a very, very weak answer for what the question is asking. Try to give a STAR example for this. STAR is situation, task, action, and result. So you could say, I usually handle difficult customers well. I'll give you an example. Go straight to the example. There was a situation when I was working at a convenience store at a gas station in Detroit. A customer complained that the hamburger he bought wasn't as well done as he'd like. And so I asked the kitchen staff to remake it, to make the hamburger again. But he wasn't satisfied. He started yelling. He got angry. Situation. My task at first was to calm him down, tell him I understood the situation, and that in 2 minutes his hamburger would be back at his table. He still complained a little. After that next complaint, my action was to stay quiet, so as not to start a debate with him. And the result was that in 2 or 3 minutes, he had his new hamburger there with the meat cooked just the way he wanted, very well done, very well fried, and he ate it and didn't complain anymore. So when I deal with difficult customers, I have the ability to listen, understand, explain, and manage the specific types of conflict well. So there is, of course, the example I told is a fictional one, but try to find an example that you can bring. Let's go to the 8th question. Tell me a little about your professional career. Okay. When you're answering about your professional career, give an answer that's 2 to 3 minutes long. Never give a very long answer talking about all the places you've worked, everything you've ever done. It's not necessary. Try to focus on the journey. I always call it the hero's journey or the hero's story, where you start here, take a step up, then another step up, and another, and you go step by step, creating your hero's journey. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose that they ask me at McDonald, tell me a little about your professional career. I'll say, I've been in the job market for 10 years now. In those 10 years, I've always worked with customers. My first professional experience, I started as just an intern at a bookstore. After 6 months, I was doing very well, getting a lot of praise from customers for the recommendations I gave, and I received a promotion to an assistant position in that store. Since I had good sales performance, I got a new job at a mattress store. See how I learned, got promoted, moved up? See how I'm telling my story, always moving up. At that mattress store, I was really challenged by the goals and results. And the main thing I got from there was that I learned to be a good salesperson. It was after a year and a half at that mattress store that I entered the food industry. I worked at the restaurant China in Box. At that restaurant, I started developing skills with cooking, fast food, and fast food customers, which is a very different profile, and I ended up becoming the manager of that China and Box store for 3 years. That store, it achieved international recognition, and we had 2 years where we exceeded our goals by more than 60%. And today, I'm very happy because I'm applying for this position as a McDonald's manager here in the city of Boston, and it's truly a great honor for me. I tell my story as one of constant growth. Romulo, I haven't had that many jobs. That's no problem. Talk about where you've studied, how you've grown, what you've learned. The McDonald's story, if you're gonna do an interview at McDonald's, I recommend you watch the movie The Founder, which has the complete story of McDonald's, okay? And there you'll see very clearly that the company's profile is one of expansion, one of growth, a profile of climbing the ladder step by step. And then you'll certainly be able to show all of that there. Ray Kroc, who was the individual who brought all that expansion to the McDonald's chain. Let's move on to the 9th question. What is your availability? Look, it's an easy question, a simple question, and a lot of people end up failing because of this question. I'll give you some tips. First, if you have full availability, it could be morning, it could be afternoon, it could be night, so don't pick a time. That's my tip. Try not to pick a time. Oh, I prefer the afternoon. Oh, I prefer the night. You can give the following answer. Look, I have full availability morning, afternoon, and night. My preference is morning or afternoon, but if the position is for the night shift, I'm also open to it. You state your preference, but you also state your availability. Now, if you don't have as much availability, I only have availability in the morning. I don't have availability in the afternoon, and I don't have availability at night. I can frame this in a different way. I can say, look, currently in the afternoon and evening, I'm taking a course. So I can't take on any commitments, at least not for the next 4 months. But in the morning, I have full availability, and obviously, if I'm hired, as soon as I finish this course, I'll have availability for other shifts as well. What I really want is to be part of the McDonald's team. Do you see how I can talk about my availability without closing the door? That's being smart during your answers. 10th question. It will come up in your interview. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? Where do you see yourself in 2 years? I'm even going to take a little sip of water here. When they ask that, it's important for you to show. Note that you want to end your career at McDonald's. You don't need to tell that lie, as pleasant as it might seem. Not that. But you can show that you have plans to build a career, plans to learn, plans to develop yourself. So I could say, look, in the next 2 years, my main professional goal is to join a large fast food chain, build a career within that chain, learn, and get promotions. So in the next 2 years, if I have the opportunity to be at McDonald's with you all, I want to be here already in higher positions with greater responsibilities and deserving of it. Talk about something personal too. And on a personal level, I'm thinking of taking some trips during my vacation. I really want to visit Rio de Janeiro, since Romulo talks so much about Rio de Janeiro. And being with my family. Those are the things I'm thinking about for the next 2 years. Little professional, a little personal. And as for Rio de Janeiro, the invitation is open, okay? Now, that first question, tell me a little about yourself, it's the first question. It can open the doors for the McDonald's recruiter to like you. That's why I've left a complete video with a guide on how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. That video's right here. Go watch it. It'll help you a lot. Excellent preparation. A big hug, and until next time. Bye.